This chart right here supports the idea or a thesis of a $325,000 Bitcoin by the end of this cycle. And I know that sounds ludicrous. Believe me, I will be absolutely shocked. I have to be very, very clear here. Nothing that I say is financial advice. This is entertainment only. And this is probably not going to happen, okay? This is just something that I mocked up that kind of blew my mind away. And I want to share it with you because, well, I find it entertaining. And in time, this very well could happen with some crazy asymmetric supply and demand metrics that are taking place right now. The problem is that we have a lot of data on this chart that kind of supports it. I made this chart probably 6 or 7 months ago. I was on crypto Twitter or something like that. I stumbled across a random account and they had a variation of a similar chart to this. And so I extrapolated it, turned it into this, and I think it's pretty cool. And I want to share it with you. And really, to clarify, I wish I knew whose account or Twitter or where the source was, because I do believe in giving credit where credit is due. And that's something that I want to be better at in this channel. I am in a lot of paid trading groups. Some are recurring revenues. Some I had to put up a lot of money up front just to be a part of them. But much of what I provide on this channel is basically the conglomeration of a lot of different sources and inputs. And sadly, that is kind of the nature of crypto YouTube. A lot of the information that you find on different channels is recycled. All of these creators are watching the other creators, taking out the gems, including them in their next videos. But I personally want to be better at giving credit for ideas that are not original. So back to the chart. What we have first off is the blue vertical lines. These lines represent the place in time where Bitcoin has begun to break out and surpass its previous all-time highs. Those previous all-time highs are shown by the white horizontal boxes. And by the way, when I touched up this chart this morning, I actually had to move this from April, which is where I had first made the chart thinking that we were going to be breaking out. But of course, now we're in September or October. So I had to move the oval and the blue line. September and October meaning where the breakout actually began to take place, and really November. The blue lines is where we've broken the previous all-time high and that we never come down and retouch the previous all-time high as shown by the white horizontal boxes. Right here was the closest we ever got. Down at the bottom, we have the RSI in monthly time frame. We have a long-term standing horizontal descending resistance line. Every time that the RSI has turned green, come up here and hit the top of this resistance line, it's signified the time in the space and time where Bitcoin is peaking out, where it's maximizing. So over the course of 10 years, 11 years worth of data back to June 2013, Bitcoin pretty much stays within this range and channel. And ever since the 2017 bull run, we've respected this white line pretty rigorously. We've pretty much always come up and touched this white line. So what does that tell us? If Bitcoin, which is breaking out right now, fulfills this oval like it has the previous bull runs, and it brings us to the upper limits of this channel, that price point is specifically right around $315,000 to $330,000. That sounds ludicrous to me. Believe me, I will be astonished and shocked if that actually happens. But when you consider a few different factors, such as the absolute lack of Bitcoin that's available, there's no circulating supply, that Bitcoins have a net deficit of the amount of, the ETFs have a net deficit of the amount of Bitcoin they're purchasing versus what's available on exchanges. We have institutions that are FOMOing into it. We have Philadelphia starting their own reserve. We have Trump wanting to start a Bitcoin Federal Reserve. There could very well be the asymmetric demand versus supply catalyst that creates a huge price surge beyond what anyone's currently thinking. Back in the bear market, my expectations for the peak of Bitcoin this bull run was going to be like $90,000. And guess what? We just absolutely blew through that. And we might go through a cooling off period and a correction. But the point in my mind here, though, is that I haven't really found a better estimate with great data as to where we could max out. And maybe I need to dig further because this does sound absolutely ludicrous. You know, my next guess is that Bitcoin's going to have very strong resistance at $104,000 to $110,000, somewhere in that range. I was thinking maybe just an arbitrary number of 150,000. I don't know where the actual peak's going to go. But when we look at this long-term chart, which supports all the data I just said, we could actually see Bitcoin climb up to $300,000 this bull run. Who knows? That sounds pretty ludicrous. And I'm not trying to pump hopium at all. I'm just saying I found this chart this morning when I was digging up, trying to find old charts, and I wanted to share this with you. So if you like this content, you should subscribe. If you want more information like this, you should join my Patreon where I'm dropping way more information all the time, what I'm buying, what I'm selling, macro theses, micro theses. There's just a lot more activity there. You can check that out in the link in the description below. Either way, lastly, if you don't have a way to store your own crypto, I like the Tangent wallet. There's a link in the description below. I like this so much because it's the easiest, probably most affordable crypto wallet that I've come across. You simply tap it to your phone and you're good to go. You don't need to write down 20 different words, buy a super expensive device, finagle with the 2 little buttons. The Tangent wallet, it's worked great for me. There's a link in the description below. If you don't have one, feel free to check that out too. What's your Bitcoin price prediction for this cycle? Drop it in the comments below. Thank you for watching.